You have got to hear what Dana White, UFC president, just said about Vince McMahon because we're in an interesting time, y'all. WB and UFC have obviously officially merged into the TKO Group Holdings Company. Following the Endeavor acquisition of WWE with Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, Triple H, and others staying on board with the company. And UFC President Dana White is now working under the same banner as those in WWE, including McMahon. And now he's given some new insight into McMahon and another layer in their relationship while speaking with Sports Illustrated. Now, keep in mind that we've heard stories over the years about how there was a time in the mid 2000s where Vince McMahon made a offer to lead play-by-play guy for the UFC, Mike Goldberg, to no show a UFC show and then appear on Monday Night Raw. We've heard stories from Chael Sonnen, who was offered a ridiculous amount of money by WB to show up to Monday Night Raw with the UFC championship when he was, fighting Anderson Silva. Keep in mind, he wasn't the champion. And so there's been various times in that instances where things have crossed paths. Most notably, Vince McMahon and WB signed off on The Ultimate Fighter airing in 2005, right after Monday Night Raw, while they were still on Spike TV, which helped launch the UFC. So Dana White gave a lot of interesting comments. He said this: "My history with Vince isn't a good one. He tried to F me so many times for no reason whatsoever except just to F with me. But that's in the past. Now that Vince and I are allies, no one's been a better partner than Vince." White stated that he's grateful to work with McMahon, who is now a different guy than who he used to be dealing with. And White continued by saying this: "It goes to show that when you oppose him, or he thinks you are opposing him, the guy comes after you blindly. Once you're aligned, Vince is an incredible partner. Triple H and Stephanie have always been great to work with. I've always had a great relationship with them. Always, even when we weren't aligned back in the day. But that's the amazing story, is the relationship with Vince McMahon." White went on to praise McMahon for what he compared to be the Michael Jordan of the business world and respected him for being a savage and a killer when conducting business. That sounds like Vince McMahon to me. It really does. It does. Vince is an interesting guy, and he's a more interesting guy nowadays based off of his appearance, right? The creepy mustache and everything like that. But it's interesting comments.